Hello everyone, my name is Raven, and welcome to my Apex Destruction tutorial series. In this tutorial, we're going to look at creating our very first Apex Destructible, and we won't look at all the properties and settings because there are a lot, but we will look at creating just a simple block that we could then import into UDK and, just destroy it and have lots of fun with physics. So, we're going to click Create Apex Destructible. Alright, and this here is our lovely default scene. You have your zoom tool, which is hotkey I. You have your orbit tool, which is hotkey O. And the pan tool. Or alternatively, you can hold Alt to rotate the camera around the pivot. Okay, so the first thing we need, obviously, that would be great is a mesh. So let's go to File, Import 3D Mesh. Now I am already inside of the NVIDIA folder, but for me it's C, Program Files, x86, NVIDIA Corporation, Apex 1.0, PhysX Lab, 64-bit. By the way, as I should have mentioned at the start of this video, check the description for the link to the NVIDIA PhysX developer page. You will need to become an approved PhysX developer, but it's a quick, easy form. You fill out and then you wait a day or two and you generally get approved. If you need help with the description, just, give a brief description of your game or whatever you want it for. Maybe you want it for UDK. Alright, and then we'll just go into the PhysX Lab. Destruction samples, we have all these in here and we'll use these in later tutorials. Like when we cover fracture maps and other stuff like that. But in this one, we're just going to use the block, which is awesome because it just crashed. Okay, so I don't know what that was all about. I assume it was just a random bug that just happens. But this is what you should have seen. And I'm sure you guys got this and did not get my horrendously epic fail. So, at the top here, you'll see two flashing things. One is the material, and if you go to the Materials tab, you'll see that you can set as internal material. I'm going to go ahead and click that so it'll stop blinking, but we're not going to cover any of this in this tutorial. All we're going to cover is some of the stuff inside the Tools page. Now, right now, if we were to fracture using seed 0, and you'll get this little icon right here, and if you left-click and then drag down, I guess, to you can see the blocks as they break apart. Now, if we want to, add some variation, we could add some noise. So I'm just going to add 5 noise, and I'm going to keep the seed at 0. I'm going to fracture it really quick. And depending on how high the noise is and the slice depth, which obviously the higher the slice depth is, the longer it will take the fracture. By default, we're at 2. But you could set it to 5. Okay, now you can see that the shapes of some of the objects are a slight bit. They're not completely and utterly perfect little bricks. But we're going to go on ahead and undo that. And you can leave the noise grid at default, but now we're going to look at the seams variation, which basically offsets. So we'll set this to 15 and we'll fracture it really quick so you can see what it exactly does. It's set to 50, or no, 60. When in doubt, always increase the amount. Alright, so now as you can see, each block is now a different size. And we'll set that to 0. And then we can also change the degrees, which you can see that now not only are they all a different size, but they're also much more varied shape. And let's go on ahead and I'm going to set this to 12. I'm going to set the noise to 10. I'm going to set the slice depth to 5. And I'm going to fracture this. And I'm going to pause this. Okay, so with all those combined with our seed at 0, this is the outcome. As you can see with everything combined, we have basically what looks to be like a random destroyed wall or cube, I'm not really sure. Before we end this tutorial, and export it out obviously so we can load it up in the next tutorial, if we were to hit F12, we can go into the playground mode, and then if we just left click, we can destroy it, and as you can see, it destroys a bit more like a like a rocket hitting a wall and actually exploding into little pieces, rather than if you leave everything at 0, you just get straight perfectly cut cubes, and while that's cool and all, doesn't look as awesome. Alright, and we'll hit F11 to jump back. Okay, and we'll just go to File, Export, and I'm just going to drop this on the desktop so I can find it later, and I'm going to call this First Destruct, and save it. Alright, so that concludes this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are going to load this up into UDK, and then we're going to destroy it, and we'll also learn how to turn on hardware acceleration. Once more, check the description if you have any questions or you need, obviously, information. If you were just following along but don't have the actual PhysX destructible, you'll be able to grab it in the next tutorial, and this one as well. If you have any questions, please stop by the forums and don't post on the actual video, because after a while it gets hundreds of comments and then people are all asking the same question, so it's just easier to just post on the forums and then search the forums. As well, go on ahead and follow me on Twitter if you'd like to keep up to date with when the newest tutorials are coming out. Thank you.